What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Good, Feel Better podcast, where we break down health and wellness in a way that actually makes sense. I'm Joshua Gipson, and if you know me, you know I'm big on real life over social media. Look, I'm a believer, husband, father, business owner, and health enthusiast, and someone who's constantly trying to balance living well with living real, all right? Now, this show is all about taking the pressure off and focusing on simple habits that help you feel better day by day. No extremes, no overnight miracles, just real conversations that matter. Health isn't just about what you eat, but it's also about what you drink. It includes spiritual health, mental health, and making sure your love life is on point, okay? That includes everything. Now, each episode, we'll dive into everything from nutrition and movement and mental clarity, lifestyle choices, and the difference between who we are online versus who we are in everyday life. Look, y'all, those should be the same people, okay? Now, my goal, just to let y'all know, is not to preach. It's to learn, grow, and get better right alongside you. Whether you are just starting your health journey or you've been at it for a while, I want this space to feel like a reset button. So everybody, take a breath, settle in, and let's build a healthier, more intentional life together. Now, before we get into the guests, and yes, I was reading that, by the way. I don't care what you think. I was reading it. All right, now before we get into the guest, we're going to go into the scripture for this season of the podcast. This is season 1. The first 10 to 11 episodes is season 1. And the theme scripture is Colossians 3:23. Work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. All right, now let's get right into the introduction of today's guest. Are y'all ready? Let's go. Today's guest understands the importance of modern medicine, but she really leans into a holistic homegrown approach when it comes to her family's health. From making her own sourdough bread, homemade cough syrup, and apple cider, to raising chickens so she can grab fresh eggs right from her backyard. Look, y'all, her kids are not only well taken care of, but they are eating real, healthy, and delicious food. She has overcome pregnancy challenges through simple, yet intentional nutrition and continues to educate and inspire people through her social media. Whether that means just getting outside when you're sick, using non-toxic cleaning products, or just simply cooking at home. She is well on her way to becoming a certified nutrition consultant, and I had to throw this in there because this is how I met her, y'all. She is a phenomenal photographer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Walker Chrisman.
Oh my gosh, wow, that was so sweet to hear. That makes me sound so cool.
Well, you are cool, Walker.
Well, thanks, Josh.
Well, how have you been? Even though we've been talking behind the scenes, how have you been?
I've been really good. I feel like I'm in a good place overall. Motherhood is not without its challenges, and I'm trying to, at the same time as I mother 2 children, study very regularly and, live the healthiest that I can live. So I'm definitely not the book of wisdom on anything, but I feel happy to be able to share what I'm learning with people on online, and I'm happy to be able to stay home with my kids and pursue something that I'm passionate about.
Perfect. So I did have a first question, but because you brought your kids up, tell people really quickly, like how old your kids are, just so people know what stage of life you're in.
Sure. So I have an almost 4-year-old, Frederick. We call him Freddie. And then I have a 1-year-old. He turned 1 on Halloween, Oscar. We call him Ozzy.
And shout out to the October babies. I'm October 16.
Nice.
My wife is October 19. So yes, shout out to
Ooh,
Oscar.
nice. I know. It's a fun birthday. I mean, Halloween specifically for a kid. He's always going to have candy on his birthday. Lucky guy.
Yep, candy and cake.
Yeah.
So take me all the way back to your childhood. Like, how did you grow up eating?
That's a really good question. I did think about this because I wondered if you were going to ask this. I distinctly remember my mom was a health nut in the sense that she milled her own grain, she made her own bread, she made muffins from scratch, she cooked all the meals, and at the same time, she would let us have, like, a sugary cereal once a week. She I think at the time, so I'm a '90s baby, she was doing the same thing that I'm doing. She was battling, like, how do I feed my kids well while also making sure that they have a little treat here and there? And
Yep.
like, what's the right balance of, fun food and healthy food? And how are we supposed to cook our meals? Like, do we use whole grain flour? Do we use white flour? I think my dad has told me recently, like, you're becoming more and more like your mother, reading ingredients labels and all that. But yeah, I grew up with a health nut of a mom, and then a dad who probably didn't care about any of that. So we ate pretty well, and I remember I was thinking about this yesterday. I had a good friend in elementary school, Kylie, and I would trade her, because her mom, fed her all of the processed foods that I
Yep.
want because I never got them. It was like fruit roll-ups and white bread and just, like, plain American cheese and ham and peanut butter and jam sandwiches and, like, chewy bars, like, everything that I
The
never
good
got.
stuff of the
Doritos, yeah, the
90s.
good stuff. So I would trade her, and she wanted my food so bad. She was always like, "I want your carrots, and I want your whole wheat sandwich." Like, it was hilarious. It is hilarious looking back. At the time, it was just, like, normal for us to just trade meals, but anyway, I
Shout out
remember
to her for wanting to eat healthy as a
I
kid,
know.
because
I wonder how she's doing now. I haven't, kept up with her, but she's stuck in my brain.
so with that being said, like, obviously you had, like, a foundation of eating healthy or just kinda knowing what things to get versus things not to get. So
Mhm.
most kids, if they grow up maybe a certain way, they'll shift a little bit. So was there like a period in your life where you obviously you traded with your friends, but like did you continue like in college to like eat unhealthy or what was that like?
I didn't give 2 poops about how I ate in college. I,
Yep.
remember going to, like, give blood, and I passed out because I probably had, like, a sugary granola bar right before, and that's it. I I don't think there was any sort of shift until after I had been humbled by my first pregnancy being really, really complicated. Um, I just kinda ate whatever I felt like would give me the satiety, like, is that the right way to say that? I would feel full,
I don't know.
and and lots of foods make you feel full, but they aren't nutrient dense, and so
Yep.
I don't think I thought about how I was eating until my first pregnancy went awry. So,
That was my next question. So was there a specific moment or experience that like sparked or re-sparked your adult health journey?
yeah, yeah. So, with my firstborn, when I became pregnant, I started going to see the OBGYN at Bronson at the hospital here, and, I was like, "That's just what we do. We go to the hospital, we see the OBGYN, and, we
Yep.
give birth in the hospital," and then I had enough friends in the, like, crunchy holistic circles that were kinda speaking in not telling me what to do in any regard, but, like, speaking into me and saying how their journeys went and how they had home births, and I was like, "That sounds really nice." Like, I would love to do that, and I think it was, like, 20 weeks, like, I was 20 weeks along, and I just switched, and I found an awesome midwife in town and started seeing her. Maybe, like, 7 weeks later, I think I was, like, 27 weeks, I got COVID super bad while I was pregnant,
Oh
and,
wow.
um, things really changed quickly. I could not shake the cold. I was, like, so, so sick, so stuffy, um, I was not getting better, and my midwife was trying to support me. She was trying to tell me, like, what supplements I could take and how to eat better, and then I started to get extremely swollen and itchy, which now I know what those symptoms can mean and, what complications those can indicate. Um, and that swelling and higher blood pressure that I had indicated that I was developing preeclampsia. And then the itching indicated that I was developing what's called cholestasis of pregnancy. I think there's probably more
Wow.
official terms for those, but I was getting really, really sick. It was essentially my organs were shutting down. Like, I wasn't able to regulate my blood pressure. The cholestasis is related to your liver. So, like, my liver enzymes were elevated, and that meant that, like, all the toxins that my liver was trying to process, they couldn't come through my liver. And so they were like making me itchy because all the toxins were like coming out in like my skin. And
Wow.
I'm sure there's a more medical and accurate way to describe that, but that's my memory of how to describe it. And so I got really sick. So from 27 to 30 weeks, I was battling the cold, getting sicker. And then my midwife finally was like, I think that you need to go into Bronson to just like get checked. And I believe that was 34 weeks. So there was a 4-week period between 30 and 34 where I tried really, really hard to support my liver, support my blood pressure with supplements. Like, I was taking magnesium, I was taking nattokinase, which is a fermented soybean supplement. I'm sure I was taking other things that I can't remember at the moment, but
Yeah.
lots, lots of things. I was drinking like tons of carrot juice and I gave myself 4 weeks, like from 30 to 34. I did just that. I did not go into Bronson. I did not try to induce labor early. I was like, I can manage this. I can fix this. And then at 34 weeks, I was so swollen that I could not see. Like, I was just like dizzy. And I remember my vision was just messed up, which is another sign that like your preeclampsia is progressing.
Yeah.
Um, and so I went into Bronson just to get monitored. And they basically said, your blood pressure's through the roof, like so high, dangerously high. You're extremely swollen. And I'd had itching, like I was just a mess. And so I got induced, medically induced. They had to do a lot of medication to get Freddie to come out, and it took about 5 days. So it was brutal. It was like the hardest moment of my entire life was those 5 days.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, the month and a half before that, but they saved his life, they saved my life. They basically just gave me everything, all the medication that I needed to, like, lower my blood pressure. They lowered it so quick that I, like, threw up everywhere. Hope that's not TMI. You don't have to include that if you don't
No,
want to.
I'm gonna include it.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
extremely traumatic, and I don't use that word very lightly. I know that that word can mean things to different people, but, I still feel like I feel it in my body, like, how that happened to me. And I think it was when I started feeding Freddie solid foods. Like, I was so brand new to cooking at home and like what it meant to feed your baby whole foods and how to read ingredient labels. I don't think I'd read an ingredient label at all until I started feeding Freddie solid
Yeah.
food. Speaking of Freddie, hey buddy, what can I do for you? Need some paper? Can you say hi? This is Mr. Josh. Hi, Mr. Josh.
What's up, Freddie?
There you go.
That's motherhood at its finest.
I know. I knew it was gonna happen. It'll probably happen a couple more times. So when I started feeding Freddie solids, I think that's where I was.
Yep.
Um, that's when I started to kind of be like, I feel like I need to get myself in order. Like, I need to start eating better. And I, I can probably remember like 5 things that Mac and I ate regularly, and they were packaged meals from Trader Joe's. Like,
Yep.
we didn't read ingredients, we didn't care if things were organic, and I don't think we prioritized nutrient density at all. We didn't know what that meant.
So for the audience, talk about what does that mean? Like nutrient dense food and why it's important.
Your body needs macro and micronutrients to function, and nutrient-dense food contains a balance of those nutrients and minerals and vitamins, and a lot of our food these days is packaged and includes additional ingredients, additional to those nutrients, and I would add that, and I don't know if this is controversial or not, but
Hey,
from
just
my
say
research, our soil is not as rich as it used to be, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but the way that we're eating now, like the food that we buy in our grocery store, we have to be really careful with the source of that food because if we're not, we're eating food that we think might be healthy, but it doesn't have as much of the minerals and the vitamins that it used to have, 20, 30 years ago. And or it's got added preservatives that cause a lot of gastrointestinal intestinal issues or other issues that we're probably unaware of. So, making sure that you know the source of your food and eating real food like meats, vegetables, fruits that are local and seasonal, that's, in my opinion, and a lot of others' opinion, that's the way to a nutrient dense diet.
so back to your pregnancy. After you had your second child, when you started reading these ingredients, what were your thoughts? What made you want to change? Kind of explain
Well,
that process.
well, there was a significant change, I think, during my second pregnancy too. So I got pregnant and it was like Freddie's second birthday. And I knew that I had to change the way that I ate during pregnancy. I remember during Freddie's pregnancy, my first pregnancy, I craved Panera grilled cheese like every day. That's all I wanted to eat. And there's no protein, minimal protein in there. There's no fiber in there. There's no magnesium. There's no like nothing really good in a Panera grilled cheese, but that's it. That's like what I ate. Um, and so when I was pregnant with Oscar, I was like, okay, protein is extremely important. And learned this through that like 30 to 34-week time period in Freddie's pregnancy, is my midwife was like, pump protein. Like, you need protein right now. Your body is severely lacking in protein, and that can be a risk factor for preeclampsia. And so I was like adding egg white powder to my protein shakes. I was eating a couple protein shakes a day. I was eating eggs every morning, sausage every morning. And so with Oscar's pregnancy, I was like, protein, protein, protein. And I made sure to eat a very balanced meal where I was always getting a protein, a carb, a fiber, um, and almost every day ate at least my weight in grams of protein.
Wow.
And that like increased as I got more and more pregnant and heavier.
Is
Yeah,
that what
that,
you're supposed to do?
yeah,
Like eat your weight and
basically.
oh wow.
Yeah. That's the recommendation. I'm sure there's, like, a range where I think they say, like, zero point 0.8 to 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight. Yeah, and that can be, plant-based protein too, but, yeah, so I prioritize that, and I had a completely different pregnancy with Oscar. Yeah.
Or your first pregnancy was the one where it was rough, you were, like, bloated and blood pressure was high, and that was before you were eating well,
Yeah.
and then your second pregnancy, when you kinda knew all these different health tips, the
Yeah, and
pregnancy was better.
yep, I started with that feeding Freddie solids, like, 6 months after he was born or so. That's when I started to learn, like, what it meant to feed a whole foods diet, what it meant to eat a whole foods diet. And then when I got pregnant, I learned what it meant to support pregnancy with your nutrition or through your nutrition and what minerals and I'm still learning. There's so much
Yep.
to learn. Like I'm fully in the bubble of learning that actively. Um but there's so many minerals and vitamins that are crucial to pregnancy, and so when I got pregnant with my second born, I was like, "I'm gonna start learning that," and I didn't know about this program I'm going through now, but I knew a lot of Crunchy Moms, and I followed a lot of accounts, and so I just started sponging as much as I could and trying my very best to eat well and support those minerals and support those vitamins that help my baby grow and my placenta grow and, keep me healthy, keep my blood pressure stable. And yeah, night and day. I mean, there were still some issues towards the very end of Oscar's pregnancy that this next time I get pregnant, I really pray that that's not the case, and I'm doing as much as I can to, support my body to hopefully eliminate that. But
Yeah.
had the second time around been able to get through um full term. So with Freddie, he was born 34 weeks and 5 days. And then with my
Oh,
second born, he was 37 weeks. So it was like just right before full term at 38 weeks. And I only chose to medically induce the second time because I had, again, elevated liver enzymes, and elevated blood pressure. Now, they weren't serious this time, and I had no symptoms. I went in purely, I think it was God, honestly, I really do, but it was this gut feeling. My midwife was like, "All right, you're cleared for a home birth, like, you can do this." And I was like, "Can you just order a full CMP? I just wanna see where everything's at. I feel fine. I look fine, like, I was not swollen." And she ordered it, and my liver enzymes were elevated, and
wow.
I was like, "All right, let's, I guess let's run another set." I think I ran 2 more sets of labs that week, and the 3rd one was in Bronson. I went into triage, and I was like, "So I got bad labs. I want you to run them here." And then they did, and they recommended I medically induce again, and I sat there for, like, 3 hours. It felt like maybe it was less than that, but it felt like 3 hours. Mac and I were just like, "Do
Mm.
we go home and just pray that things get better naturally again, or do we stay here?" Because, I mean, I don't trigger warning, I suppose, if anyone pregnant is listening to this, but, like, the way that my liver enzymes elevated, like, the speed, the rate, um, I could have gone into liver failure if I'd gone home, and that could have been extremely serious. I didn't want that to happen, and that's ultimately why we chose to do another medical induction. So,
We're just gonna say that was God for sure.
I think so. I mean, it
'Cause
it was quick. I mean, the rate at which it doubled, and, um yeah, and when I went there to get checked out was the first time I had, like, started feeling contractions. It was like my son and me were like, "Okay, like, we're doing this," and Oscar was out, I think, the next day. Yeah, yeah. It was not a very long labor. It was, like, 5 hours total.
Mac, that's your husband, for people who
Mhm.
don't know. How does he feel about the holistic lifestyle? And then also explain to everybody what a crunchy mom is. Because it because in my research, I was like, I was looking at your Instagram like, "Wait, what is a crunchy mom?"
What is a
So explain that
crunchy?
how your husband feels about everything.
Well, Mac Mac supports everything that I am learning, and, he was by my side during both births and pregnancies. So he saw the changes I made, he saw the positive impact that had on my pregnancy experience, and he was probably equally as traumatized by Freddie's birth and
Yep.
that life-threatening situation I was in. I think he probably mirrors my balanced approach where, like, modern medicine saved our lives, mine and Freddie's, and we recognize the importance of it in life-threatening situations, and we prefer to try to tackle things naturally at home first before
Yes.
take our kids to the ER or, and we've had to take Oscar to the ER. He had RSV when he was 10 weeks old and we took him to the ER and he got care and he got better and we supported him naturally at home afterwards. Like we I think Mac is still, so I will say he won't mind me saying this because he'd admit it, but he's still the guy that will, like, stop at McDonald's or Taco Bell. Like, I will eat
Yeah.
Taco Bell. On very rare occasions, I will eat Taco Bell. I'm not a hardcore crunchy mom, and I would define crunchy mom as, so crunchy, I think, comes from the granola. Do you know what granola mom means, or a granola person?
No,
It
I'm
means,
learning so much.
I'm actually not sure if this is it right, but in my brain, it started with granola. So, like, that person's very granola can mean, like, they are earthy, they, eat, I don't know where granola comes from now that I'm thinking about it. They eat trail mix. They they hike, they drive Subarus, like, that's the kind of person
Man,
that I think someone would describe as granola. And then crunchy, I guess, just means the same, like, we do things naturally, we don't, like, I don't know. Wow, now
just a holistic, and I figured I knew what it meant, but I just never heard
I
the
guess I
term.
don't know how to describe it. Oh my gosh, wow. Can
You
I
got what she
I didn't
means.
Google it, I'm so curious. Crunchy mom definition.
Real
Yeah,
talk.
parent who embraces a natural holistic lifestyle, rejecting mainstream products and practices in favor of eco-friendly, that's the word I was looking for, eco-friendly, organic, and non-toxic alternatives.
And I figured that's what it was, but I just, again, I haven't heard the term.
That's
And,
a really Yeah, that's a great question because it's funny how I use that term but don't even know how to describe what it means.
hey,
I just
there's so
knew.
many new terms these days.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I
So
mean, we're the crunchy parents who will still order Taco Bell, on occasion and still drink wine on occasion. But ultimately, like, our 90% is eating really well, feeding our kids really well, avoiding all processed foods and additives and preservatives and refined sugar, refined carbs. Like, we're not perfect. And I don't
that's the whole point. Like, literally, that's the whole point of this podcast is people who are trying, including myself, people who are trying to live a healthy, natural life, but I'm not here to portray that I'm perfect because nobody is. So I don't want to put that pressure on anybody. Like, yes, I will still have some cake. I might have some Oreos sometimes, but I do juice. I like everything that you said. I've agreed with not feeding your kids like all these processed foods. But if we're at a birthday party, like
Yeah, like, give your kid a
they're gonna
cupcake.
have some cake, I
Not
might have some cake too. Like,
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel, and I do feel like, there's so many podcasts these days, and I think that's amazing. Like, I love, love, love podcasts, but there's so many people telling you, like, what to do and what not to do, and it can get so overwhelming. You're like, "I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough." Like, I should be eating this, and I should be prioritizing this, and I should be only using non-toxic this, but, like, you can't do it all.
you
You
can't.
absolutely
It's
cannot.
impossible. You will literally drive yourself crazy. So I might alienate some of the audience. I'm acting like this is a huge podcast, and it will be. But I might alienate some of the audience when I say this. But do you remember that SpongeBob episode where I forgot what the episode was about, but he ended up sitting in his house, and all he did was just eat like air.
I don't remember that, but
Oh,
that's not because I didn't see it. I did watch SpongeBob. It's because that section of my brain doesn't exist anymore. Like, I have refilled that brain section with, like, this knowledge that I'm learning, and I've forgotten all of that. Like, I can't
you know
store
what?
it
SpongeBob isn't even important. It's all about health. Take him out of your brain, everybody.
anymore. But I'm sure I saw it.
But yeah, essentially, there was an episode where I think the episode he was like so paranoid about so many different things, he just ended up sitting in his living room. Nothing was in his house, and all he did was suck in air to
That sounds
survive.
really familiar.
Y-
Yeah.
y-
Maybe that's
You
because
don't want
that's
to get
what
to
it
that
seems
point.
like you have to do these days, and
Yeah, like if you're listening to every single podcast, you won't even be able to drink water.
that's yeah, yeah.
So
'Cause that's
what?
the thing, like, you now can listen to a podcast and someone goes, "Water, regular water, it's not enough." It's not enough. Add minerals to it, and you're like, "Wha regular
Oh
water
man,
isn't
like,
good for you anymore? What?"
yeah, like you. I mean, it's probably true, but you don't have time for everything. Like
No, I know, and there's days, like, I take supplements, but I forget them for, like, 2 days in a row, and I work out, but, like, some weeks, I don't work out at all, I don't have time, and, some days I battle, do I feed my kids chicken nuggets? Because I don't have time to, like, give them a protein and a carb and a vegetable. Just
you are a
chicken
mom
nuggets.
of two, and I am a father of two. It is understand like sometimes you're not gonna get all the fruits and vegetables. You might just get some air fryer chicken tenders and some fry, and they'll be happy, and you'll be well rested.
I mean, at Costco, they have this great brand that's just chicken.
So how do your friends and family like? When I met you, I think we met in like 2018, somewhere
Probably
around that time, and I don't think you were in this lifestyle. So
not at
now that
all.
you seem like fully immersed in it, how do your friends feel about everything? Are they supportive, somewhere in between? Are they skeptical?
I have a couple of close friends who are equally holistic minded. I've got friends who consider the same things that I do, but they lean more into modern medicine than I do. And less into crunchy. They appreciate it, but they don't fully start there. They always start with modern medicine because they're comfortable there.
Yep.
Um, and I have friends who probably have never given their kids any modern medicine at all. Like, they have never given their kids ibuprofen or, any type of modern fever reducer. Um, they're, like, making their kids teas and stuff, and, I'm not quite there yet, I'm kind of in the middle.
We're
Yeah,
slowly trying to ease like teas and stuff like that into our oldest son.
yeah,
And if we
not a
put
fan.
like a lot of honey in it, obviously he'll be like, "Oh, this is good." But if we
Yeah,
if
and
we have like cloves and ginger, he's not messing with it.
honey is, like, magical. Don't give your kid honey if they're under 1, because apparently they can develop botulism, but if they're over 1, load them up with
Yeah.
honey.
Have you done, like, the fermented, like, garlic honey or onion honey or, like,
Yep.
turmeric ginger honey?
Oh, yeah. I make Mac take that every time he gets sick, and he hates it, but,
Yep.
we this is the first winter that we've truly embraced those types of remedies for illness and tried really hard to support our immune systems with herbs and, foods and fruits and vegetables and herbs. So last spring, I got strep throat 3 times in a matter of 6 weeks, and
Sheesh.
that was another health thing where I was like, first of all, still working, and I had 2 kids at that time. So Oscar was 6 months, and so my stress level was high, um, and my immune system was not prioritized. Like, I didn't make fire cider, I didn't make any sort of herbal teas. I was just like, "I'm working, I'm going to bed. I'm working, I'm going to bed." Um, and we started using homeopathy pretty regularly at that time, and, um, I started making fire cider, and I make, tinctures, sort of. I mean, I'm a novice at all of those. Those are all things I'm seeing on Instagram, and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna try that." Like, I have echinacea, I'm just gonna make a tincture because that's really good for you. I have goldenrod, I'm gonna make a tincture, and I'm gonna make Mac drink it too.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
and yeah, I have to make him. He doesn't he's quick to go to allergy medicine because that works fast. So I'm working on him. I'm working on him. But
Tune
we've
in to
had
the
a very
podcast, Mac. No.
yeah, tune in, Mac. We've had a very mild 6 seasons so far, which is great. Like, we've gotten a couple, like, sniffles around the house, but we've all kicked it really quickly. I
That's
think
the
that's
thing. So, same here, honestly. This is our
good.
first time kind of implementing all the like, I had the garlic honey and the onion honey and then the turmeric ginger honey already made, so we've been doing it one teaspoon a day. Obviously, we'll sometimes
Yep.
miss some days,
Yeah.
but when we do get sick, it seems to go, like, way faster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fermented honey, and if you guys don't know about that, look it up.
Look it up.
I feel like 2 years ago, fermenting anything would have sounded crazy to me,
Mhm.
and I'm just assuming the same for you, so, like, along this health journey, is there anything where you're just a completely opposite person, you have a completely opposite mindset for a certain topic than you did when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, um, I think I just didn't realize, like, how your health was impacted by your gut microbiome, like, the good and the bad bacteria that live in your gut, and supporting that with fermented foods is really beneficial to your health, and I just thought people liked, like, naturally fermented, like, sauerkraut and kimchi, and I do like that stuff now. I would not have eaten that 2 years ago, but
Nope.
now I eat a tablespoon of sauerkraut every day because the bacteria in that is more powerful than an entire bottle of probiotic supplement that you can get. So, yeah, I mean, everything I feel like 2 years ago me would be like, "What? Your body needs what to survive? Like, you have to eat that?" Like,
And
there's
and
so
not really survive, but thrive, because you can
Right.
survive eating
Yeah.
junk,
True.
but
That's so
you feel a huge difference when I have to speak for myself, like, when I switched over to eating healthier, I feel a huge difference between when I didn't. Like, if you
Yeah.
have a rock in your shoe and you're walking, you don't necessarily realize it's there until you stop, dump the rock out, and you're like, "Man, this feels much better
Yep.
to walk without that pebble under my
Yeah.
foot."
Yeah. So what is your just out of curiosity, what do you guys consider your, like, diet? I don't wanna say diet, your intake, like, what's your food intake like?
The biggest thing for me is cutting back on sugar, cause your boy was going crazy.
You have a sweet tooth?
Yes, absolutely. And like we talked about before, I still obviously indulge every once in a while, but cutting back, that is the main thing. I
Did
do
you have,
eat
like, a
le
health issue that caused you to switch your perspective on food?
Yeah, so in November of 2024, I went into the doctor and she was like, "Oh, you have high blood pressure." And at that time, I was 34. I was just like, "How do I have high blood pressure and I'm this young?" And I thought it was a fluke, went back maybe like 3 weeks later, and it was still high, and I was just, "Okay." Started doing research into juicing and eating and made the changes, and it hasn't been high since. I haven't checked it in a while, but when I did, it went down, and I've felt better ever since, because I think what sparked it prior was the documentary With the Health on Netflix that came out, I think, in, like, 2019, 2018, and that's kinda when I first cut back on meat and did, like, a vegetarian lifestyle for 2 or 3 weeks until I went back to meat. But now I feel like I do wanna get to a point where I'm a vegetarian, I'm just not there yet.
You wanna be vegetarian?
I do, and I
Why is
think I can get to that point.
for your blood pressure?
That's where it started, but I think I feel better and lighter when I
Yeah.
don't eat meat. Of course, I enjoy the taste and I like it, but when I eat it, I feel more sluggish and I get the itis is what we call it, when we get super tired after you eat a whole bunch of food. Like, that's not how food is supposed to be. It's supposed to energize you,
No.
and I feel energized when I don't include meat in my diet.
Interesting. Do you eat a or did you eat a specific quality of meat? Like, did you try to buy, like, grass-fed meat or organic meat or anything like that?
That's what I do now. Before, absolutely not. I was
Oh,
just getting whatever at Meijer or Trader Joe's,
yeah.
and
You would be surprised at how much they add to some meats in the store. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, it's not, nothing is just one thing anymore.
Yeah. Very rare, and if it is, it's expensive.
Yeah. So
Make
we
big trade-offs when you eat well, for sure.
exactly. there's a farm called Bennett Farms. I think it's somewhere close to Paw Paw,
Mm,
and for a while, we were getting our all of our chicken from there,
nice. That
and that it didn't make me feel as bad
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
a local family farm.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what the animal eats is what you're eating. Like, you
Right.
if your animal if the chicken or the cow is getting tons of antibiotics, tons of grain, which is notoriously an inflammatory food, that is what you're eating.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was also gonna ask you, were you eating, like, protein, carb, vegetable when you felt, like, so tired? Were you trying to, like, balance your meals at that time, or was it like, "I'm eating, I don't know, like, a barbecue sandwich"?
At that time, I was eating any and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
any and everything.
I
Barbecue
lear
sandwich, fried food. I was one of those people that needed a dessert after lunch and dinner.
That's such a sign that your body's not getting what it needs to.
My sugar cravings are, like, way down now.
Good, that's great.
No lie, like, 6 months ago, there's this cake at Carrabba's, and it got to a point where they knew I would call and be like, "Yeah, you want the Sonio cake?" I was like, "Yep, that's me.
They
I'm
knew.
on the way."
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, that is done for now, for
Yeah,
sure.
I heard through, like, my midwife when I was, trying to prioritize protein, she told me that when your body craves, like, sugar or chocolate, it's usually needing more protein. Um, so, like, I love and I still am learning this, but, like, your body craving something is telling you what it needs more of.
Yeah.
And I'm still on this journey of, like, trying to, first of all, eat more fiber because I realized I'm eating a lot of protein, I'm eating a lot of fats, healthy fats, and I eat some carbs, but, like, I don't think we had vegetables in our dinners for, like, 3 months, and I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my gosh, we really need to step it up." And this was, like, last year sometime. So, I'm trying to balance, and support my body in the way that it needs to, but I could feel my body craving, like, crispy, like, a cucumber sounded so good. And then realized I was like, "I don't think I've had any sort of, like, vegetable in a while. That's why that cucumber sounds so good to me."
You're on your way to becoming a certified nutrition consultant. What inspires you to take that step, and then how do you plan to use that certification?
Um, I really, really want to partner with some midwives. This is the dream, like partner with some awesome holistic midwives in town and offer nutrition support for their clients. And, even as basic as a client needing help, like putting together a meal plan for their day to day, like when they're pregnant and maybe they have multiple kids and they just can't quite put their brain to how do I feed my kids well.
Yeah.
So that kind of support would be awesome to give to other women. And then even making foods for them, like in their kitchen, showing up and being like, I'm going to batch prep you really, really nutrient rich foods that you can eat once you have your baby. Because there's so much your body needs once you've delivered your baby. When people brought us food, that was like true love. Like I just felt like, oh my gosh, like thank goodness I don't have to think about preparing a meal. And like you could just feel people talk about like the village,
Yeah, yeah.
where you could feel that when someone would bring you a meal. And like there were some people who brought what they could. They would order us DoorDash. That was awesome. I loved that. Even that was just like, thank you so much. But I had some friends who would like pack protein balls, nutrient rich protein balls for me to eat in the middle of the night and an entire sheet pan of a breakfast casserole and an entire sheet pan of a dinner. Like
Oh, wow.
something that I didn't have to think about for the next like 5 days because I would be able to just like cut a piece of this sheet pan meal and eat it when I have a baby on my chest and a toddler running around. So I I'm always the first person to sign up for a meal train anytime I see any of my friends or even people I don't know, sign up to give them meals, after they've had a baby, because it's the way that I show love.
So, are there any practical tips or small changes or habits that you found that can help someone live a healthier life without feeling like super overwhelmed?
I would say number 1, and, this will be different for everyone depending on what stage of life you're in, but, like, really, really shy away from the packaged food section in the grocery store. And when I say packaged, I mean, like, cereals, granola bars, like, pre-made meals that are just supposed to be stuck in the microwave, like, that sort of thing. That's probably my number 1 tip. And then read the ingredients labels, and you want what you're buying to have very, very few ingredients. You don't want, to see any numbers in the ingredients. You don't wanna see any words that you don't know the meaning of. When you buy, like, a loaf of bread, you wanna see, like, flour, salt, yeast, water. That's it.
These are all things you can pronounce, by the way.
Yes, things you can pronounce. Um And that takes a lot of practice, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but, like, if you're looking at 2 options for something and one has 6 ingredients and one has, like, 20, pick the 6 ingredient one.
Facts.
And, start there. I would say that's top 2 tips.
I heard on a podcast one time somebody said God is the only one that can make real food. Everything else is just a drug with a food label. And that changed my whole mindset. Like, a
Yeah,
grape is a grape, it's just one ingredient. A banana is a banana,
yeah,
one ingredient. And if you buy anything that has multiple ingredients, it should just be one
yeah,
ingredient things like grape,
yeah,
banana, strawberry. That's what's in the
yeah,
smoothie, not
yeah.
extra crap. So,
Exactly. And food companies, the way that our food is in America, like they want us to want more of their food. And they have scientifically formulated, not everybody, but lots of companies have scientifically formulated foods to make us want more of it than our body needs, or to make us feel hungrier the more we eat. Like when you buy a food with high fructose corn syrup in it, it makes you crave it because that's what that ingredient does to your body. It says, "I'm still hungry, like, give me more of that because it's so good." And it's not a nutrient-dense food, it might be like a, um, Uncrustable, it's got, like,
yeah.
peanut butter jelly and enriched flour and high fructose corn syrup added to the jelly or whatever, I'm making this up, but, like, you're gonna eat one, it's not gonna have that much nutrient density in it, and then you're gonna be like, "I'm still hungry," because you didn't give your body any nutrients, you just gave your body, like, synthetic flavors and high fructose corn syrup that's signaling your body to be like, "Wow, I need more food." I mean, there's so much out there. I think my other tip is just to try your very best to, um eat the meat and spit out the bones. And that means, like, if you listen to a podcast and you're, like, overwhelmed by all the things they're telling you to do or not do, pick, like, one thing. Like, spit out the rest. Don't eat it all and be like, "I have to change everything about my life." Just, like, pick one thing that you feel like is attainable and do that. And then I guarantee, like, one little change will lead to more changes naturally.
Yeah.
Um, and the more you, I guess, like, learn, the more you might wanna change, but don't feel like you have to do it all at once. I think that's a constant struggle for me too, like, I wish I could just, like, snap my fingers and have this entire, program in my brain and, like, um, go straight into supporting people because I'm so excited about it. Um, but reality is I'm still learning and I'm still trying to figure out like what does balance look like for me and what things do I prioritize in my food quality. And Mac and I are always not at odds, but like Mac would sooner pick up like the cheapest meat at the grocery store, and I would sooner pay $4 more to have meat from a farmer at the farmer's market that I know where it came from and how those cows are treated. And we are constantly making compromises and choosing where we spend our money.
So where can people find you on social media, and what do you have coming up next?
So I primarily post on Instagram and TikTok at Holistic Health Club. That's just a funny way to say club. I don't really know why I did that. I just thought it was funny. And I am about to complete my pregnancy nutrition certification. So I will officially be certified in pregnancy nutrition. Probably, let's see, I'm going to say March. It just depends, how my final exam goes, but I'm feeling really good about it. And after that, I'll be taking clients who want support during their pregnancies. And then I'll be continuing my studies to support women during postpartum and their fertility journeys and starting solids with their babies. So that's what's next.
Perfect. Well, Walker, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast. You have definitely educated me on some things, like what a crunchy mom is, and
well, Google educated you on that.
Oh yes, Google. Shout out to Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely learned a whole bunch of phenomenal things. Thank you for being on the podcast, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you for having me.
Man, that was a phenomenal episode. One thing that stuck out to me is the importance of nutrient-dense food. It makes sense why you can eat tons and tons and tons of junk food and still not feel full. But when you eat real food, you get full faster. So that means eating less and more quality food. That's a win-win. I think that's what we all want. If I could encourage you right now listening, I'll say the same thing as Walker. Don't be overwhelmed by all the information you hear on podcasts and shows and blogs and ChatGPT and Google. Look, you know what you need to do right for your body. Focus in on that one thing and make that small change. And keep making small changes over time. And the next thing you know, you'll look back and you'll be a whole different person. Make sure y'all follow my personal juicing page, juicing_with_Josh, and the Instagram page for this podcast, which is live_good_feel_better_podcast. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search Live Good, Feel Better Podcast. If you guys have any questions for me or for the guest, we're going to start asking these questions pretty soon. Email livegoodfeelbetterpodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram. It doesn't have to be a question. It can be a testimonial or a story or a question. With that being said, I will see y'all next Tuesday, wherever you get your podcast. Have a great day. And remember, prioritize living good so you can feel better. Peace.
Ambition, I'ma go after. Obstacles, it don't matter. All action, low chatter, won't slow down, I'ma go faster. More goals that I'll try. Let's scroll on Wi-Fi. No fast food in my gut. More sunshine, cause I'm outside. Only time speaking vocally is in the song, then you gon' see every single thing pan out like my wife cooking and we about to eat. Bank accounts with interest, stocks up when I invest. No updates on my timeline, could care less if you impress. My vision board on Pinterest, I'm praying more when I get stressed. I'm making sure that my kids set. My two boys, they been next. Took a break, I'ma get going. I was moving quiet like the wind blowing. Now I'm stomping for my dreams, and I promise you there's no more tiptoeing. Cause ambition, I'ma go after. Obstacles, it don't matter. All action, low chatter, won't slow down, I'ma go faster. More goals that I'll try. Let's scroll on Wi-Fi. No fast food in my gut. More sunshine, cause I'm outside. More sunshine, cause I'm outside. About to catch these dreams, it's about time.